Hey, this is John. Welcome back to the Breakthrough Creative. This is the place where we talk about the business of art and the art of business. And today's episode is a follow up with last week's episode featuring Robin Liefeld, who is a fine artist. She shared about her whole journey and the crises in her life that led her to step into fine art, to take it from hobby to business. So good. There's so much information in that episode. I was so impressed and inspired by Robin. She was just amazing. And in the middle of the episode, she had mentioned that she has 17 steps she takes, actions with every piece that she creates. I didn't want it to get lost in the last episode, so I cobbled it out and I made it into an episode of its own. And so I encourage you to take notes in this episode and listen to what Robin has to share. These steps are really valuable. Here we go.
When I sign a painting, then the painting goes through 17 steps.
Yeah.
Not every painting. Some paintings I'm like, no, not this one. But honestly, I'm always shocked. Some of the paintings that I think are horrible when they sell, and the person gets back to me and says, "This painting is so meaningful to me," and then I think, I don't know what I'm doing. Somebody really loved that painting. I'm always surprised when ones that I don't like sell, and ones that I love just linger on my website forever. But what happened when I first started taking my business seriously, everybody would say to me, wow, it feels like you're everywhere. It feels like your art is exploding. It feels like you've just, I see everywhere. And then I realized what I do is I do the same thing with every painting, and it gives the illusion that I'm everywhere. And so I can share those with you if you'd like.
Please. Yeah,
Okay.
that's wonderful.
So during the painting process, I'm taking lots of pictures. On Instagram, are you familiar with stories?
Yes.
People love to see you working. They love to see your hands with paint on them. They love to see your dog underneath your art table. They love process paintings. And one of the things that I love to do is, as I'm painting something, I'll ask people for title suggestions. And so already people are thinking, oh, I love that girl. Oh, she looks like a Susan. Or, oh, I think the title should be, quiet in the morning, whatever. And so I'll have people kind of guide me or help me. And now they're feeling ownership in the painting. Then when it's done, I'll post the final painting, but I'll sign my work. Everybody has a different way of signing in. My signing has changed over the years. I used to sign in the very, very lower right-hand corner, but when people would take the canvas or the art to get framed, the frame would cover up my my signature. I was like, I didn't even know that until somebody came to me and said, I can't see your signature. So I've learned, what to use and where to sign over the years. And then I take photos of it in natural light. And like I said earlier, before I varnish it, before it's shiny, I have a very fancy camera, but I don't use it because each picture that I take on it is so huge that to upload it onto the various things takes forever, or it just refuses and it says its file's too big. So I do everything on my iPhone. And that way I can just airdrop things back and forth from my laptop and my iPhone. And it is so convenient. Once I learned airdrop, I save myself hours every day. I'll edit and crop it because maybe the iPhone doesn't have the exact look, so I can lighten it or brighten it, change different things. I often just do it right there on my iPhone. There's several different editing apps that you can use, and just Google, what people like. But I just find my iPhone to be the easiest. And then I'll put 2 coats of varnish on the painting. Key is to let the varnish dry in between layers. I've learned, do not revarnish over wet varnish. Let it dry. Sometimes I use the spray, and you got to learn how to do that.
Sure.
Or I'll varnish with a paintbrush. But then you got the little paintbrush strokes and the paintbrush hairs. So you have to decide which one works best for you. Then I bought this, let's see, is it here? I think it's upstairs. I bought this little stamp from Zazzle, where I also get all my business cards, Zazzle.com. You upload your art and you can put it on anything. I bought this wooden stamp with one of my girls, and it says RobinLiefeld.com. And I'll stamp every single piece of artwork I do with that stamp. And you had brought up branding earlier. This is kind of the beginning of my branding, where everything has a similar mark on it. Even my paintings have similar colors and similar mark making, because I want people to say, I know that artist. So I use this little stamp. I think it costs $20 on Zazzle, and I've used it thousands of times. And when people see it, they're like, oh, that's Robin. Like, they recognize it immediately. Then this is what I had to learn, is keeping good records of my inventory. I'm a prolific painter. When I paint, I'll often have a dozen paintings all of a sudden. I had an incident where I painted something and I had it at a show and it won a prize. And people who won a prize in the show got to move on to this best of the best show in the whole area that I live. And I sold the painting. And so when it came time for it to be sent to the best of the best show, they're like, okay, bring your paintings. And I'm like, I don't have it anymore. And I realized I need to keep a better job at record keeping. So I need to write down, how much it is, what the title is, what the price of it is, and where it is. This is hanging in a coffee shop. This is in the basement. And finding different bags to protect your work as it's going from one place to the other. I love clearbags.com. They have really beautiful bags that make your art look very professional. Then after all of that, after I've inventoried it, I list it. So you want to pick whichever website you show up best on, where the people who love your art is. Maybe it's on Twitter, maybe it's on Pinterest, maybe it's on Etsy or Facebook or Instagram, or where are your people? Where are they looking for your type of art? I tried everything, and it seems like my people who love my art are on Instagram. Then I show up there and I do my best work there. If you are on everything and it's kind of, like you post once a month, or somebody goes and looks you up and you haven't posted for a year, they're not going to continue to look for your art, because they'll think, oh, she's not painting, or she's not a real artist, or whatever. So wherever you're showing up, bring your best work there. Be regular and consistent. And then also, as you're listing, be a storyteller. You touched on that when we first started. People really want to know what challenges were you having when you were painting this, or what were you thinking? Tell a little story to invite somebody into it. And that will help build connection with the people who are going to buy your art. And then when you're on that website, wherever you're listing it, learn how to do their hashtags or their SEO, whatever it is. Learn your best practices. So I'll have something like a clipboard with a girl on it, and I'll list her. And when I first started listing, I would say hashtag acrylic paint, hashtag art, hashtag Instagram, and I learned you have to really niche down. So a clipboard of a little girl, instead now I say hashtag pediatrician's office, hashtag coach gift, hashtag cancer survivor if it had something to do with strength or courage. So really finding what people are searching for instead of what it is. Find what people are searching for. So really learning how to hashtag is my secret sauce, and that will help people find you. Every now and then, I'll promote on Instagram or Facebook. But I have like a budget of like $10, $50, and I don't go over that. It's nice every now and then to get your art in front of people who don't regularly follow you. And so they'll put your art in front of friends of friends, that sort of thing. But it was a good way to build an audience for me when I would promote early on. It also provides social proof. If somebody sees your art at a coffee shop and they look you up and they see, wow, oh, wow, then you have given them proof that you're an artist, and that so I think social proof is rated. You should really keep up to date on a particular website. If I'm not listing it for sale on a website, it'll go hang somewhere in an art show or in a gallery, that sort of thing. And I also donate a couple of paintings a year. That's very important to me. I have certain charities that I love, and they have benefits or fundraisers or auctions. And every year I give 2 or 3 paintings. That provides goodwill, and I get customers who would have never seen my work. At a black tie event, they'll be like, "What is that?" And I've gotten collectors from that where I just give it away, and it brings a lot of goodwill. Do you ever give any art away, John?
I have, yeah, and it generally brings back 10 times whatever you do. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I always have business cards there, and I have my little stamp on the back so people could find me, who maybe they didn't win the art, but they want to know more about me. Also, when I'm at these art shows or when the art is out in public, I need to have a good elevator speech. So when I'm standing there with my little punch and my little whatever snack I'm eating, when somebody comes up to me and says, "Oh, what do you do?" I have a speech. I've perfected. It's changed over the years. And so people can very quickly learn a little bit about me, who I am, what type of artist I am. I think it's very important at any moment to be ready to tell what you do with confidence, and look people in the eye when you do it. Like when I first started, people were like, so do you have any art here? And I would look at the ground.
Oh, yeah.
I really had to build, that was a muscle I had to build to engage people. And then when they feel connected to you, then they feel more connected to your art as well. And that is really, really important for people to have something hanging in their home and they remember, oh, I remember meeting Robin.
Yeah.
And she said this or whatever. So learning your elevator speech is very important.
Can we hear your elevator speech?
Let's see, I have it written down somewhere. I don't have it with me, but it's, hi, I'm Robin, and I love to paint whimsical little children. And oftentimes they express, feelings of faith or strength or looking into yourself. And then I would turn around and show them. It's longer than that, but I just try to give them a little glimpse of why am I painting this little girl, and how did it come about? I have, because of COVID, John, I haven't been to an art show. I haven't been in person.
Right.
Right before all of this, I had a big show, and so sad that it got canceled. But maybe someday we'll get back to the way it was.
Yeah.
And then I kind of touched on engaging with people on social media. So once you post something, you have to be present on that channel and talk to people, and not just responding to their comments, but also sharing on other people's posts. So, oh, I love this art. Oh, it really touches me. You know, really give back as well, not just be on there for one reason to sell your art, but also be part of the community. What you're trying to do is you're trying to build your business, you're trying to nurture it, and you're trying to engage people. Those are the things that I always think about when I'm, you know, doing work. And then I'll upload a photo of a piece of art that I particularly love onto one of those merch channels. So there's Society 6, Redbubble, Zazzle. There's Fine Art America. Have you ever listed your stuff on Fine Art America?
No.
Yeah. And these models, I think, are genius. So my husband's parents are both authors, and you know, from back in the day, they would write a book, a very well-known, important book, and then they would have in their basement boxes and cartons and boxes of their books that they would lug around to different things, and they would have to have inventory. And just recently, oh, so if there was an update, then one box is just old and not worth anything. Recently, when we moved them, their basement was full of all these books that were out of date or whatever. But the merch sites nowadays are genius because they handle all the inventory for you. So if somebody orders a sticker or a print or a poster or a phone case or a notebook that has my art on it, I don't have any of that in my basement. They get the order, they print it, and they ship it out.
And you don't have to, I mean, the shipping alone would be a nightmare.
Right. That's what one of my love-hate things with Etsy. When somebody orders something from Etsy, I have to package it up and go to the post office and pay the shipping, which oftentimes just cuts right into your profit. It just hugely. So what I love about these drop ship models is no inventory. They take care of everything. And so I really am trying to use that as passive income and use that a lot. And then they have, you know, certain coupon codes. Let's say on Sundays they have 50% off. So I'll get my email list and I'll email everybody and say 50% off this Sunday. And so if you wanted that mug this Sunday, if you use this coupon code, you can get it 50% off. And so I try to drive people to the shops. If I see something, you know, a good deal. And it's free to upload on these merch sites, not on Etsy, but on Society 6, Redbubble, Zazzle, Fine Art America. And then, like I said just a minute ago, is I try to maintain a newsletter. I'm horrible at it, though, to be honest. But the idea is that you have these names and you own them. And they're yours. And so if you want to
meaning the email addresses?
Email addresses. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you have something, all my art is going to be hanging at this show on this day. If you'd like to go see it, I'll send it out to everybody and then they can go see it because they might miss it on their Twitter feed or on their Instagram feed. So, you know, there's a big push for people like us to have email lists. It's just another thing that I don't like doing. But it's, you know, it's part of the business. One other thing that I like to do is I like to, like, if I have a painting that's especially meaningful to me, I'll write a blog about it. I'll take a picture of it and I'll list it on medium.com. Have you heard of medium.com?
No.
It is a free blogging site. They have millions of visitors and traffic every day. So I could blog on my own website, but on Medium, I just have traffic there that you don't have on your own individual website. I'll take a picture of it. I'll write something about it. And I'll say how you can purchase it at the bottom or more about the artist at the bottom. So medium.com is a wonderful place to kind of share your art and your deep thoughts. Like if you have an inner writer in you, you could do that sort of thing. I think showing up in as much online real estate as possible is very advantageous for somebody who's trying to have an art business. Own as much real estate as possible. Have a free giveaway is another thing on my list. So if you're on Instagram and you paint a little thing, you can say, here, I'm giving this away to, I will randomly draw a name. So put your name in the comments, or your email in the comments, or email me, DM, whatever you ask them to do, and then tag a couple of your friends. And then all of a sudden their friends come over going, why did you tag me in this? And they see my art and they're like, oh, I like that. And then they click follow. And then you go from 4,000 followers to 8,000 followers by, running little giveaways. That's also a lot of work, but it helps grow your followers, because then you have to mail out the who won. Then when a painting has sold, to indicate that it has sold in, kind of like a humble way. You don't want to be really obnoxious about it, that it's sold. That will also give you social proof, where people will say, oh, wow, if I want to buy her art, I'm going to have to jump on it right away, because that sold in 4 minutes. And if I want it, I need to just move quickly. You're showing people that your art sells and people like it. And it's just another strategy I use, is I let people know if something has sold. Another thing that I do, and I love this so much, is I ask people when I'm mailing them a piece of art, I'll request, could you please send me a picture of it hanging in your home? That is so moving to me. I haven't gotten over it yet, where I see one of my girls hanging in somebody's office or next to their television. So meaningful. And then I can also post that here it is in somebody's home. So it gives me a different way of showing the art now in a buyer's home. And then I talked about repurposing and leveraging your work. So I will, before COVID, we would have little pop-up shows where you would sell little things. And so instead of creating a whole large painting, I would make stickers or journals or laptop clings or little clipboards or little things like this that I could take to a pop-up show. Original art is not affordable for everybody, but they might want a print of it, or a button of it, or a keychain of it. And then the last two items on my list is the second to last is create a lot of work, have a large inventory. Sometimes an opportunity will come up where they'll say, well, we have this space in this restaurant, but we need like 12 or 20 paintings. And it is very rare for people to have that inventory ready, wired, varnished, ready to go. So I always try to keep a lot of art so I can jump on those sorts of things, keep it available. I once heard somebody say, what's the best marketing for your first CD? They asked a musical artist that. And the answer was your second CD. And so I kind of taken that to heart. I continue to have more work available. So my basement has got a lot of canvases, and sometimes I don't like them and I paint over them and start over. Sometimes there's 12 girls underneath the canvas. And fiercely protecting your painting time so that you can create, so that you don't just become a administrator of your business, but a working artist. And then the final thing that advice I give people when they're trying to turn their hobby into a business is to just add a new skill every day, one tiny little thing. Join a new group, go on an art retreat, which isn't tiny, but go hang out with people who you admire. Surround yourself with people who are doing what you want to do, only better. Like being around excellent people is so important. And it's hard because you feel so bad about yourself. But when you're around people who are doing it excellently, you just rise to their level. Go to art openings, have business cards in your pocket all the time. Hi, I'm Robin, here's my art. Surround yourself with talented people and then share your knowledge. Just be generous with what you've learned, and that will all come back to you. So that's kind of my philosophy and what I do with each painting, which seems like a lot, but once you get in the groove, it really, it just becomes rote.
And there you have it. Thank you, Robin, for sharing those 17 steps you take with every piece that you work on. I know that I myself am going to be utilizing many of those in the work that I am creating moving forward. I love that you have a system. I think that as artists, anybody creating anything, anybody in business, we need systems. If we want to lose weight, we need systems. Why would we not apply this to the business of our craft? So I have Robin's information in the show notes. I encourage you to go and visit her and find out more about Robin at robinliefeld.com. That's also in the show notes below. And we will see you next week. Until then, create something. Take your art from hobby to business, okay? You can do it. Take one step after the other. Maybe you're going to take one of the steps that Robin shared with you today, and you're going to implement that. You're going to make that a part of your system as you either move from amateur to professional creative, or you're already a professional, but you need to make your machine work a little bit more smoothly. So pick something that Robin has shared with us today and go ahead and use it. And I will see you next time. Cheers.